Okay, so here's another one on the solo stove. You can see whether you like it or not. So this is actually, it was full of bark. You can see it's really hot right now. Um, it was a mix of bark, dry, but I'm gonna try some really nasty stuff. It's not so this stuff I got this at the start of summer, and it's actually visibly. I mean, I can feel it. It's wetter. It's all poplar. It has been drying for 6 months, but when I was using it in this little Inno Stage over here, excuse me, Inno Stage over here, it it eventually did burn, but lots of smoke and eventually nothing but giant, coals left over. It actually choked off the vents in the bottom. So, oh, and I was mixing it in with other pine and good stuff, but that would burn well. So it wasn't, I'm just trying to get rid of some crap that's left over from when I was splitting a bunch of wood. So, anyways, this I've been using these on my deck just to burn leftover junk from limbing trees and stuff. So I'm going to try choking this thing down with this stuff, and let's see what happens. And this is going to be uncut footage, so you'll see exactly if this succeeds or fails, or I have no idea. I'm just throwing it in. Okay, it's still flaming around the edges, so it was hot at first, so this isn't just a cold start with bad wood. I would say you definitely need to start good wood to get this thing up to temperature. But you can see it's starting to slow down. Let's throw some on the backside where that flame's still coming out. Let's choke it. In fact, I'm going to use one of these little sticks I got here for poking, and let's try to choke this thing out. You can see it's choking out quite a bit. I got more room here. Let's throw it in. Cram it. Getting better. That's kind of choking it down quite a bit. One more. I got one more piece here. I got some more in here too, but I'm getting pretty full. So that thing's pretty stacked full. It's actually up above the little vents in the side. Let's just see what happens. So the smoke coming right off of it is fairly minimal. When I go up higher, you'll see that, yeah, there's definitely smoke coming up. That's to be expected. So smokeless fire pits aren't truly smokeless. Let me try to turn off my light, see if the light kind of magnifies the smoke, if you will. Yeah, I'm going to turn it back on. Yeah, so the light magnifies the smoke. You'll see this is not truly smokeless. If I was to do this in like a campfire pit on the ground, the smoke would be unbearable right now. So it still is doing some secondary burn on the smoke. Impressed. We're 3 minutes in. I'm going to let the thing keep going. Let's see how long it actually takes to do it. You can see I have some other little cedar limbs on the ground that I used to start the fire. Okay, so here's a campfire tip for people. If you ever want to start a fire, now that we're in COVID time, the best thing for starting a fire, and that everybody should have when they go on a camping trip or if you're hiking or whatever, bring not a big bottle, a small bottle of hand sanitizer. This stuff, just 3 squirts, will actually burn hot, and it will burn kind of like a napalm just from the top down, and 3 squirts will take about 3 minutes of burn, so about one minute per squirt. The funny thing is you can actually squirt that on a piece of cardboard and light the top, and it hardly burns the cardboard. Very impressive. Definitely do not try this inside, because if you get that on you and it's lit, you will get the shit burn out of you. So you can see it's actually smoking more now. We've got some reburning on the side. I'm not messing with it. Oh, one side just went out. Let's see what actually happens, how long this takes. It's picking back up a little bit. The big difference with this Inno Stage, with the Solo versus the Inno Stage, the Solo holes in the bottom are the same size as this Solo holes in the sides. So it has a pattern all the way through the bottom. And if we look at this Inno Stage here, I'm just going to get my hands down in these old pits. You can see the holes are half the diameter. And half the diameter, just for, because I'm a little bit of a math geek, that's actually 4 times smaller. So if you go up in diameter by 1, you go up in area by 4. Just some math ninja stuff. Okay, so this actually grew, the fire grew a little bit. It's getting a little better. The smoke's getting a little better. There's still some. It's getting hotter. Like I say, this is the worst, well, not the worst. The worst case scenario would be is if I took this bark fresh off the tree, but it's actually been off for about, we've had a very hot month up here in Washington. So hot in Washington is like, I guess, cold in the South or some shit, but for us it's hot. And so this I would consider this fairly dry camping wood, even though I would never burn this on a campfire out here. We always try to burn heartwood because wood's not a problem. We've got tons of it. But quite frankly, I'm just getting rid of this and hoping to use it for a little bit of heat tonight to enjoy on the deck while I listen to the stream. Oh, and by the way, so while we're waiting for this, I might as well tell you a little more about this. The opening on this is 15 or 16 inches on this Solo, so it can take bigger wood. The opening on the Inno Stage, 12.5, smaller wood, and it's probably only about 8 inches deep. So you really have to have small pieces of wood. They say that you can burn pellets in it too. Haven't tried it. I got too much wood. Not worth me trying to do it. I bought this one first because it was cheap. It was they've got two sets, so you can spend $90 on Amazon and get just what you see right there, or you can spend 110 and get that extra little plate over here. Let me hold this up. You can see that this plate would be good for cooking. Like if you're trying to grill on it or something, it's all 304 stainless, so it's safe. The one thing I was kind of surprised about, so even with these handles in here, do not grab them. They do get hot, but they don't get that hot. It's not like they're changing color like the rest of it. I was kind of surprised by that. The handles on the side of the stove are even less hot. Surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of heat transfer. However, the base did get hot. The base on both of these. So I've got this on a Brazilian, I don't know, we killed some fucking rainforest down in Amazons to get this deck. So it's like some kind of Brazilian ironwood or something. But I still put it up on rocks just because it's, if you have a callus, you can touch it for a little bit, but you'll get a first-degree burn if you hang on it for any limited amount of time. And just to be safe, I did that. And I would say both stoves have the equal touch on the deck. For real wood, it'd probably be fine on this wood. I would not put it down on any kind of composite where there's like a plastic in it. I think it would leave an indent. So I would strongly suggest having, you could just put a piece of junk wood on the deck just to keep it, just some kind of a barrier. So these rocks work great too. So, I just keep it. I have a couple flat pieces of shale rock that I put underneath it just to protect the deck. And yeah, I'm sorry, my deck looks like crap. It's not worth staining. I've got huge cedar trees here next to my deck. It's a constant battle. During the wintertime, this thing's slippery as snot, but I enjoy it for as much as possible. Mushu, my Chesapeake's hanging out here. She's like, please let me go in. Why are we sitting outside? Because we're doing a stove review, girl. She just had a birthday. She turned 15. you're 15 years old. She turned August 30th. She turned 15. Hope to get another year. Hope to get some more time out of her. I've been amazed. Yeah, so now you can see this thing. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little close. My phone's actually getting hot on the back. See if you can hear it hissing. It's not hissing too bad. It's actually burning pretty good right now. I mean, the smoke's almost down to nothing. And so, what's that been? 10 minutes since? No. Let's see, I think it took me 2 minutes to throw it in because I was blabbering on so much. But, hey, I'm sold. If you're trying to burn crap wood to, get rid of, I threw a small maple stump that was about 7 inches across. I threw it in there. It was sticking up above. Dude, it gobbled it up earlier tonight. If you just want something to hang around with, I will say that you need to have some space between the furniture and the people. So you probably need at least a 3-foot radius around this thing. The Inno Stage is a little nicer for this. It doesn't put off as much heat because I mean, just look at here. I'll put them next to each other. So when you take this off, you can see that there's an ash dump in here. It's actually kind of cool the way this looks. It looks cool because the lighting of there's a laser cut kind of just says Inno Stage, so I guess that would be a logo. It actually looks pretty cool, but it's up off it's an ash dump and it's up off the deck, and you can still see it's smaller. So the Solo actually holds, just as terms of depth wise, it's twice the depth, if not more. And let's go back to our little diameter rule. It's not twice the diameter, so it's not 4 times as much, but I bet the volume is easy 4 times as much, if not a little more, just because of the depth difference. Well, do the analysis. 12 and a half inches versus 15, let's say 15 and a half inches. I couldn't get the tape measure on the Solo. It was too freaking hot. So, like I said, I'm going to reiterate. If you want something that you can cook on, easy to carry and small, this Inno Stage isn't a bad deal. I mean, the construction is fine. The welds were good. I have no complaints. The only thing I'd suggest is I saw they had it in black paint. I would not get any of these smokelesses with paint. I'm 100% sure it'll burn the paint off. Go with the raw stainless. That's the best way to go. If you go with the black because you think it looks cool, it'll look like shit when you're done. Guaranteed. Don't go with the black fireproof because these things, both of these, burn hot. And that's kind of I don't want to buy a black one just to prove it, but I bet you could find this in the comments that after one good hot burn, it will fry it. And in order for these to burn correctly, they have to burn hot. So that's one thing I want to say. You can't just put a little tiny fire in the bottom of these things. It'll smoke out. The way they work is they all have an air jacket in the side. So inside here there's an air jacket, and inside this one there's an air jacket, and it has to create a convection current so that the air is coming up through and out the top. And what happens is by that air coming out through those top holes, that causes the reburn or secondary burn of the smoke. And so that's why it's quote unquote halfway smokeless. Nothing's truly smokeless, but very impressive. I'm actually glad I spent the extra $200 for the Solo. It will probably be my main one. I got a grill, so I don't plan on cooking on the open fire. I'm probably going to give it away to a friend. I had a friend that was looking at it and kind of eyeballing the Inno Stage a little bit, and this would be something that's perfect for like an apartment deck or something like that. But the only thing I'd say is do not have these on an overhang, right? You don't want this cooking up into the eave of your house. So I've got an overhang here. It is not underneath that. It's well out and open. you know, because that's going to be a problem. I'm just hanging out here. Well, this is a 15-minute video, longer than fuck, but, you know, I hope this is a better review. I didn't see much about this online. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. So I'll put this on. You guys have a good night. I'm going to go drink another beer.